Greetings, Benjamin J. from BENZTRAINZ with another in the series. Well, doing an experiment, so I figured I would do a video to document it. What you're looking at is a 490 shell that was originally for a battery-operated motor. Now, this 490 shell is completely different than a standard 490 shell. In the first instance, it has no mounting holes to mount the motor, the crossbar. Originally, it had a big reinforcing block straight across the center of the body. So you couldn't put a full-size motor in it. So I snapped that out, as you see. Modified the front of the motor. Now the battery-operated motor does not use a front crossbar. So the push rods are actually held by holes in the plastic shell itself. So I've trimmed that away to make room to put a full-size motor in this shell. It's actually in really decent shape. It's just that it won't accept a standard motor. And added a new tab and slot coupler with the rivet. As you see, this actually works quite well. So a new coupler. So now I've modified the locomotive. I can drop a motor in here, but now what I have to do is mark holes so I can drill the mounting holes to mount the motor. But as you see, let me take this off the tripod. As you see, with a bit of finesse, that's actually going to fit in there quite well. So I think my motor's off the mount in the back. Let's move this back a bit. Really difficult to do anything with this camera in the way. All right, there we go. So, as you see, all I've got to do is drill some mounting holes and I can mount that motor in there. It works. It looks like a standard 490 shell, but it is not a standard 490 shell. And that was the major problem with this. Anyway, after looking at it and doing some careful measurements to see what it was actually going to take, get this tripod out of the way, to actually get that motor mounted, all I had to do was slight modification on the plastic itself, and I had to break that center brace out of the motor, or out of the shell itself. So I just took a pair of opposed jaw pliers and just snapped this thing completely out. But as you see, a bit of work and you have a running 490 with that new double reduction motor in it. Now, once this is completely assembled, no one would ever know that this actually began life as a battery-operated locomotive. It's got a double reduction motor in it. As you see, it actually looks quite respectable. It's in really decent shape. There was nothing wrong with it. The coupler was missing, and it would not fit a standard motor. So anyway, a bit of modification, and you have a 490 with a double reduction motor. So I've got to mark some holes so I can drill this and then put the mounting screws in it. But I just want to do a quick video on this. You know, as I'm always stressing, don't overlook the junk. In normal use, this would very likely wind up under the or under the layout and sit there forever. I mean, it was a battery-operated locomotive. So anyway, a few minutes modification. It wasn't difficult, just time-consuming. Bust out that entire center brace and then modify the front so you can slide the crossbar in position, get everything lined up where you want it to be, mark the holes, drill some mounting holes, and you have a new Marx 490 in actually very decent condition, as you see. And this was a DC battery-operated locomotive, and you simply could not put a motor in it. So, modified the shell. It only took a few minutes. It was fairly straightforward, easy to do. Now all I've got to do is mark the holes, drill them so I can mount the crossbar with screws, and I have a new 490 with a double reduction motor. So it looks nice. It actually looks like any other standard 490, but it is not. It's actually the body itself, or the shell itself, is actually completely different than a standard 490. So again, had to modify the plastic here in the front. Got to get this marked and probably drill 2 small pilot holes, line everything up, and then drill the holes for the screws to hold that crossbar. But as you see, it looks like a 490. It runs like a 490. It's got a double reduction motor in it, and the total cost was $8. As you see, that actually runs quite well. It looks nice. No one would ever know that this was actually a battery-operated locomotive. So it's up and running. So I'll get those holes marked and we'll take it from there. In the meantime, a new 490, perfect place to mount that double reduction motor. And I have a new locomotive. So just want to do a quick video. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to drop me an email, BENZTRAINZ@gmail.com. And as always, thank you for watching.